When your video stops at 100 views, is it really your fault? Or is something else going on? Right now, at this very moment, millions of people are watching videos on YouTube. Their fingers are scrolling up, down, coming, going. Click, play, and then they either stay or leave. And the question is, why do some videos suddenly explode, go viral, get millions of views? And why do others, with all the effort in the world, only reach 100, 500, 8,000 views? Is it all just luck? No, my friend, it's not luck. Luck is just an excuse. Luck is for those who don't want to admit that something, somewhere, is off. But if you stay with me through this video, I promise you, by the end, your entire perspective on YouTube, on your videos, on those frustrating 100 views, will completely change. I'm going to teach you how to turn those low-view videos into gold. So stay with me, this story is yours. Let's start somewhere you might find yourself right now. A small channel, a motivated person, lots of ideas, lots of passion. You upload a few videos, wait, eyes glued to the screen. Constantly refreshing. 10 views, 50 views, 100 views. It won't go higher. In the end, you tell yourself, honestly, I have no luck, the algorithm doesn't see me, YouTube doesn't want me. But let's step outside that feeling for a moment. Outside that judgment. Let's look at it like a detective. Did YouTube really just not like this particular video of mine? Or did I do something wrong somewhere? And here's the first big lesson. If your video got 100 views, it means the algorithm showed it to a certain number of people, they clicked on it, and then, they either stayed or left. If they left, it means something was off from the very beginning. Either the title, the thumbnail, or those very first seconds. Let's dig into this together, from the root. There's an interesting theory called the failure ceiling. It means that when we do something repeatedly and don't see results, our mind starts to accept that this thing can't give us more than that. But here's the thing about the YouTube algorithm, it's artificial intelligence, not a person. It doesn't care if your channel has 10 subscribers or 10 million. It only cares about one thing, viewer behavior. If viewers click on your video and stay, YouTube says, oh, this is good, let me show it to more people. If they don't click or they leave early, it says, this isn't useful, forget about it. So let's go back to that video of yours with 100 views. Put yourself in the shoes of a viewer for a moment. You're scrolling through YouTube's homepage. What makes you click on a video? The title, the thumbnail, the channel name, yes, all of these. But the most important decision happens in a split second. This is what I call the deadly second decision. In that half second when you see the thumbnail, your brain decides whether this video is interesting or not. And if it's not, your finger keeps scrolling. Now let's talk about that thumbnail. Something many of us, especially when starting out, underestimate. We use a low-quality image, or a random frame from the video, or tiny text that nobody can read. But those who get millions of views, what do? They tell a tiny story in the thumbnail. A feeling, a curiosity, a question, a contrast. The thumbnail needs to be powerful enough to make the viewer stop and think, what's this? I need to see this. And then the title. The title isn't supposed to be an essay. It's not supposed to give everything away. It should be a hook, a promise. It should tell the viewer, if you watch this, here's what you'll get. But not directly, through a thread of curiosity. For example, look at this video's title. When your video stops at 100 views, is it really your fault? It's a question, a challenge, a contradiction. It challenges the viewer to come and see what's really going on. Now let's talk about those golden seconds. The first 20 seconds, everything depends on them. If you can't convince the viewer to stay in those first 20 seconds, they're gone. They won't come back, even if the rest of the video is a masterpiece. It's that simple. So in those first 20 seconds, never start with an introduction. Don't say, hey everyone, welcome to another video, because by the time you finish that sentence, a bunch of people have already left. In the first 20 seconds, you need to drop a bomb. Something shocking, a strange question, a bitter truth, a bold prediction. Make the viewer stay to see how it ends. Okay, now let's say the viewer stayed. They clicked, they came, they survived the first 20 seconds. What makes them stay until the end? Audience retention. The YouTube algorithm loves this. If your viewer watches 50% of the video, that's good. If they watch 70%, that's great. If they watch 90% or 100%, YouTube says, this video is a treasure, let me show it to everyone. How do you boost retention? By giving the viewer a reason to stay every 10 to 20 seconds. A surprise, new information, a shift in tone, a question, a story. Don't let the viewer get bored. Don't let them think they know what's coming next. Keep hitting them with surprises. Keep them curious. Let me give you a practical example. Let's say you're making a video about habits of successful people. Title: 3 habits successful people never tell you about. Thumbnail: a photo of a successful person with a weird expression, and on the thumbnail, it says, the hidden secret. Video opening: you know why some people with a simple idea start a revolution, while others with 1,000 ideas end up nowhere. Because they have a secret habit that nobody talks about. Now the viewer is hooked. They want to know what that habit is. Then, every few minutes, reveal a new habit, but wrap it in a story, a real example, a practical tip. And at the end, give them a challenge to start doing it tomorrow. Now let's go a little deeper. One of the most important things that takes videos from 100 views to 100,000 views is educational storytelling. What does that mean? It means you're not just giving dry, empty information. You're not talking like a textbook. You're extracting a lesson from the heart of a story. Let me give you an example. If I tell you, to be successful, you need to be patient, it's cliché and ineffective. But if I tell you the story of a real person who, in the toughest circumstances, stayed patient and achieved results, that lesson becomes unforgettable. For instance, the story of an entrepreneur who went bankrupt multiple times, but each time learned something from the failure and eventually found success. When you hear that story, patience is no longer an abstract concept, it becomes a living experience. So if you want your videos to break past that 100 view mark, you need to become a storyteller. You need to package information inside an engaging story. You need to take the viewer on a journey. Take them from a starting point, which looks like their own life, to an ending point, that desired change. And along the way, teach them, energize them, inspire them. Another key point is, talking with the viewer, not talking to the viewer. The difference is that if you talk to them, it's a one-sided lecture. But if you talk with them, it's a conversation. In your script, use words like, you, we, let's together. Make the viewer a partner. Ask them questions. Make them feel like you're right there with them. Let's step away from that 100 view mark for a moment and look at a different angle. Let's say you have a video with 500 views. Many people get discouraged and think that video failed. But no, that video didn't fail, it was a free experiment. An opportunity to understand what your audience likes and doesn't like. Let's analyze those 500 views. Check your analytics. What was the average watch time? If it was low, your hook or initial content wasn't strong enough. If there was a sharp drop at a particular point, that section was boring. If there were few comments, you didn't invite viewers to engage. These are all data points, all clues. The algorithm is telling you where you went wrong, you just need to listen. And here's a powerful lesson we can take from YouTube that applies to all of life. Failure isn't the end of the road, it's a map. If you fail in life, in work, in relationships, it doesn't mean you're a failure. It means you took the wrong path, so let's try a different one. YouTube teaches us to look at the data, accept our mistakes, and change. And that change is exactly where growth happens. Let's go one step further. One of the biggest secrets of viral videos is that they solve the viewer's problem. Your viewer, if they're a beginner YouTuber, what's their biggest problem? Low views, frustration, not knowing the right path. So your video needs to directly address that problem. You need to tell them how to get through this stage. And when you do that, you're no longer just making a video, you're offering a solution. And people love solutions. Now let's talk about a fascinating psychological technique called the curiosity gap. You show the viewer something, but you don't complete it. You leave them hanging. There's a secret, a truth behind the scenes, but if they want to know what it is, they have to stay until the end. For example, in this video, I could say, the secret to million view videos lies in something that 99% of YouTubers are completely unaware of. Now you're going to stay to find out what that thing is. This is an amazing technique, but it must be used correctly. Don't overdo it to the point where the viewer feels you're playing games with them. Another technique is sudden emotional shifts. Take the viewer on a ride from curiosity to surprise, from surprise to empathy, from empathy to hope, from hope to action. For example, in a video, start with a discouraging statistic that makes everyone nervous. Then tell a real story of someone who was in that situation and found a way out. Then tell the viewer that they can do it too. And finally, give them a practical step to start tomorrow. That's an emotional roller coaster that keeps the viewer with you until the very end. Now let's go back to that low view video. Let's focus on thumbnail and title, because they're the entrance door to your video. If that door isn't appealing, nobody's coming in. In your thumbnail, use contrasting colors, show people's faces, amplify emotions, use short and readable text. In your title, use numbers, use powerful words like secret, solution, mistake, hidden, use questions, use surprise. And always give the viewer a promise of what they'll gain by watching. And here's another golden tip. On YouTube, nobody's waiting for you. Meaning, nobody, not the algorithm, not the viewer, owes you anything. You have to earn their attention with your videos, your content. So if your video got 100 views, instead of getting discouraged, go see what you did well and what you didn't. Don't compare yourself to million subscriber channels, compare yourself to yourself. See where you were yesterday, where you are today, and where you want to be tomorrow. Let's do a quick recap of all this. To take your video from 100 views to 100,000 views, you need to do a few key things. First, create a thumbnail and title that grab attention in a single glance. Second, fill those first 20 seconds with a powerful hook, a shocking truth, a big question, a bold prediction. Third, replace lectures with storytelling. Wrap information inside a story. Fourth, every 10 to 20 seconds, spark something new, fresh curiosity, a small surprise. Fifth, pay attention to audience retention. Make your video so engaging that the viewer can't click away. Sixth, use data and analytics. See what you did wrong and fix it. Seventh, and most importantly, always respect your viewer. Respect their time, their mind, their emotions. Teach them something that actually helps them. And the final tip, perhaps the most important of all, is that YouTube is a journey. A path, not a destination. Every video is a step. Every view is energy. Every comment is a connection. So enjoy that very first step. Draw energy from those 100 views, and keep moving forward. Because if you truly love it and truly care about your viewers, sooner or later, those millions of views will come. Let's do something practical. Right now, go to your channel, pick one of your low view videos. With this new perspective you've learned here, review its thumbnail and title. Look at those first 20 seconds. See at which point you lost your viewers. And then, create a new video incorporating all these lessons. I promise you'll see the difference. I promise that 100 will become 1,000, and then 10,000, and then. Now it's your turn. Down in the comments, tell me what your biggest challenge on YouTube is. Low views, ideas, or motivation. I'll come and reply to you myself. Because believe me, I'm here to help you go from that small point to those big peaks. So until the next video, take care of yourself, believe in yourself, and never forget that every small video can be the start of something big. P.S. Save this video. Whenever you feel like you're losing momentum, come back and watch it again. Because this path sometimes gets tough, but it's worth it.